Good evening to all the beings of Earth, seen and unseen. I just realized my microphone was muted. Thank you so much for sticking with me. So this is Sovereign Starseed. My name is Seth. My friends call me Silky. And we are accelerating Earth's awakening process every night by streaming to you live some sovereign conscious news. And we try to help you stay empowered by remembering that a lot of this news is propaganda, as well as trying to remember that we stay neutral as we intercept this news is how we can stay sovereign and empowered. My ultimate vision is to end up seeing this whole planet just kings and queens honoring each other everywhere, from all ages, all types, all races. Doesn't matter, no prejudice. That's really what I can't wait to have removed, is the prejudice, family. There isn't really any enemies, but there's definitely something to evolve past, and one of these areas to evolve past right now is prejudice. And I just cannot wait to see something like that kind of leave the planet. And oftentimes prejudice is going to be taken away from us through our own sovereignty and through us being able to recognize how beautiful we are as beings. So thank you so much to everybody that tunes into this. Thank you so much to anybody that is just out there listening. Anybody that shares this. I just really appreciate you guys. So, alright, as it is right now, let's go ahead and get into some of the news. Some of that good news that everybody's been waiting for. We usually like to start off with some news, then we like to end up getting into a maxim before we part ways for another 24 hours. Alright, family, let's bring in the news. Alright, so the news tonight starts with cbc.ca putting out this article that says pirates are selling cheap live TV and some Canadians are signing up. The offer sounds too good to be true. Pay a small monthly fee and get access to thousands of live TV channels from across the globe, offering everything from sports to entertainment. It says stop paying high prices for cable. You can get 500 channels for about $20 a month. Of course, there's a catch. These are third-party dealers selling pirated TV channel subscriptions. Nonetheless, this black market industry is growing globally and it's catching on with Canadians. A recent study suggests that 6.5% of North American households have accessed a pirated live TV subscription. The report was done in Sandvine in Waterloo, Ontario, a broadband equipment company that tracks some internet usage. It studied anonymous home internet traffic from thousands of Canadian and U.S. internet providers during the month of September. The lure of pirated TV says that it's basically designed to replicate your cable experience. The services are also easy to use. They function as IPTV, Internet Protocol Television, where users stream the content from the internet onto their TVs, often with the aid of a set-top box. Basically, the pirates are stealing signals from around the world, digitizing them, and putting them online. It's also easy to sign up. CBC News did a Google search using the term IPTV service and discovered a long list of offerings. So they could take HBO. Already, Canadian content providers are growing nervous about the pirated TV subscription trend. Let's see. We can see that head of the Asian television network says it's no longer a program that's being pirated on YouTube. He says it's the entire linear channels from around the world. And it says, how do you stop that? To combat the growing pirated TV trend, Deeth says it needs to be tackled on many fronts. Besides targeting the people who operate the services, he says authorities can also work with payment companies used by the pirates. When Netflix cracked down on people who paid for unblocking services to access content restricted to other countries, PayPal disallowed at least 2 unblocking companies from offering its payment services. the best way to stop this is to make these services unreliable, make it not worth the money. So they also say to go after blatant piracy sites is, in our opinion, an extraordinarily simple, common sense approach. However, some consumer advocacy groups have criticized this idea, claiming it will lead to rampant internet censorship. So this is a good article. Just to end up seeing from the beginning here, guys, that we are seeing that there is a lot of pirates popping up, and it's actually making services so nice, easy, and simple to use to just pay somebody for it every month and have them provide you the service without having to agree to so many terms, conditions, and regulations that a lot of these people are in Canada are just wanting to take that, and they're just wanting to end up getting alternative cable services that cost them a lot less. The other thing that I think is good to touch down on is also that it says the best way to stop this is to make these services unreliable and make it not worth the money. That's what the Asian Television Network head guy is saying, and it says to go after blatant piracy sites is, in our opinion, an extraordinarily simple, common sense approach. So yeah, from this I could see that it's pretty obvious to see that if they were going to try to do things, we can see that making things unreliable and make it not worth the money is a very, very good reason for why it was in the television interest to have something like net neutrality repealed, so that way people could go ahead and have to continue to pay, for the same content, and they could pay like an alternative provider $20 a month to get 500 channels at the same streaming rate as Netflix can give you for $10 a month, but it doesn't have as many channels. So it's just something to be looking at. And then also it also says that they were going to go after an extraordinary blatant piracy sites is what they're going to go after. And so yeah, that is something that I could see as being a common sense approach. However, I just want to say that if we see something like that happening, a lot of times we'll end up seeing as well 5 to 10 more piracy sites pop up in its place that are more secure. And now with decentralization becoming a hot technology and a hot alternative, it's only a matter of time before something like that happens. So next, news.bitcoin.com says 2 Indian token marketplaces suspend trading due to regulatory pressure. So 2 Indian crypto token marketplaces have announced that they will halt trading from March 5th, tomorrow. The platforms state that this is due to regulatory pressure, which put their businesses, quote, under a lot of stress. So over 35,000 members have used the 2 platforms. The news outlet added BTCX India, which began as one of India's oldest Bitcoin exchanges, has been operating for 4 years. However, last year the platform dropped Bitcoin trading to offer real-time Ripple trading for Indian rupees. BTCX India recently posted a notice on its website stating ETHX India is India's first Ether exchange. The platform has been offering ETH trading for rupees for 2 years, and it's also halted its deposits and Indian rupee deposits. Deposits received, if any, will be automatically reverted to the respective bank accounts, the company emphasized, adding that trading has been halted from the 1st of March. Customers are kindly advised to withdraw their rupees and ETH. So this is just something that's happening because the Indian government has been discussing the regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies and digital tokens. The roles of the regulators for cryptocurrencies have reportedly been decided, and the law governing Bitcoin is expected soon. BTCX India recently informed its members. The company emphasized that, quote, until new rules are in place for tokens on public blockchains, we are halting our trading platform, adding that the company will now focus solely on its blockchain consultancy work. So, I want you guys to end up seeing, what do you guys think about you know, how these exchanges are shutting down out of fear for regulation. And I want you guys to think about what that would be like if, like, these weren't exchanges that were like people that, if these weren't exchanges that you couldn't like relate to or talk to like a person. Think about this as like as if they were exchanges, as if each exchange here, both of them, were people that you know, and they have a personality. And I want you to think about that. And I'll go into a long time, and I'll go into it later, but like basically think about why. You know, like think about if one of your friends was one of these bold exchanges that was all like, hey, I want to start becoming the guy that basically exchanges everybody's crypto. And even though there's no rules out for it, even though there's nothing going on with the government and it yet, I want to end up coming out and doing this thing. And you're like, wow, that's really cool. Thank you for providing this opportunity for everybody. I don't know, maybe you won't say that, but whatever. But like, then you end up hearing your friend go, wait a second, I heard that there are some rules coming out, and these rules, they do not make me comfortable. And so in order for me to feel comfortable, I'm gonna have to stop trading everybody's crypto coins. And after everybody's gotten all comfortable with it, they love it, they're starting to use it, they actually, some of them are even depending on it now because they see the potential in it as well. Well, now all of those people are now shut out of that opportunity just because your friend was scared of some rules coming in. He didn't even wait for the rules to come in. He didn't even like want to end up asking the rule makers, what can we do to work together? What can we do to make sure that we are staying out of each other's hair so that I could still exchange cryptos for people and you guys could still do what you need to do? You know, how could they end up working together? He didn't wait for any of that. Instead, in fear, he just said, I'm stopping. This great opportunity, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not providing it for anybody. Sorry. I know, it was cool, but no more. So, you know, that's just something that I want to end up bringing up because, like, this is the way that these companies act if they were our friends. You know, and if we did know them personally, this is pretty much something that we could see, you know, like one of our friends doing. You know? And I just wanted to point that out. So, like, it's kind of like, what would you say to one of your friends that was all like, hey, man, we haven't even heard any of the rules yet? Or, I'm sorry, what would you say to one of your friends if he was trying to shut down all of his services before any of the rules even came out? Would you be like, hey, let's wait for the rules at least? Or, you know, let's start thinking of another alternative. Or, you know, let's just like, let's do something different, you know, like with what we're doing. Kind of like how we could say that, oh, I don't know, man. There's just so many different ways to end up looking at this right now, guys. But I'm just showing you that, like, you know, 2 Indian marketplaces are suspending trading due to regulatory pressure. And this is something that it's really sad to see. And I don't like it, you know. And these Indian crypto token exchanges, you're getting thumbs downs from Sovereign Starseed right now. That's not good. It's not good. I want you to pick yourselves up and remember that you guys started in a space without regulations, and you guys will make it and tread through a space of regulations. But when there's a whole country that's depending on you to participate in a global marketplace that's changing the world, well then, to cut them off from that just because you're scared of the government, it has a massive statement. And so I just want that to be known, is that, no. I want you guys to end up, like, definitely opening back up. Don't worry about the exchange. Don't worry about the regulations. These are just things that people are trying to fear us into. We're waking up, family. We're waking up. And this is the way that we got to just send these Indian crypto exchanges massive love, right? We got to just send them massive unconditional love because they're scared. And, you know, all we can do right now is just send them so much love and try to end up inspiring these Indian marketplaces to be like, look, you guys are phenomenal. You're pioneers in your country. Keep it up, please, so that way people can continue to thrive on this alternative to the government. So that's just something that, you know, I just wanted to show. And then next, Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that says Belgian tax authority to search for taxpayers using foreign crypto exchanges. So the Belgian Special Tax Inspectorate, the STI, is looking for Belgian individuals who have invested in cryptocurrencies in foreign exchanges. After receiving information from Finnish authorities that several Belgian taxpayers have been trading on Finnish crypto exchanges, the STI started looking into the cases of 3 Belgians involved, with a fourth file closed as a non-case. According to a rule introduced in Belgium last year, crypto speculators are obliged to pay a 33% tax on crypto profits, filed under the, quote, various income section on the form. Due to the anonymous nature of crypto trading platforms, the standard writes that the crypto tax rule has been hard to enforce. However, the STI plans to follow the example of the US IRS, which legally compelled US-based crypto exchange and wallet Coinbase to turn over the data on around 13 customers for tax enforcement purposes. Belgian tax authorities will try to use the double taxation treaty between Belgium and the US as a way to get information about possible Belgian Coinbase users. The STI also planned to send similar requests for information to crypto exchanges generally to find out whether any Belgian taxpayers are customers. A representative from the Federal Public Service of Belgium says it will be investigated whether a similar question can be asked as that of the IRS. There are several other websites that deal in bitcoins and many other crypto coins. Every known website in this domain can count on our explicit attention. While the IRS had initially asked Coinbase to turn over information on all of its users, a court case brought on by Coinbase decided in November 2017 that only information on high volume users needed to be given to the IRS. But then also recently another like 13,000 accounts were just given over to the IRS upon request. So, you know, as it is, it's pretty much that, you know, the Coinbase doesn't have its sovereignty. Nobody's able to say no to the IRS, and the IRS are the big bullies that are able to come in and just basically say, yeah, give us all that data. Why? Because we said. So give it up, slave. And so, like, yeah, that's basically how it's going. And for Belgian tax authorities, it's, you know, they're trying to follow suit of the IRS. They think what the IRS is doing is great. And, you know, it's definitely something that makes my heart go out to any Belgian individuals right now. You know, I would definitely feel for you, you know, because we're going through the same thing. And, you know, the U.S. and Belgium, we're doing this together, right? And it's all right, man. Like, we're basically there's a whole bunch of people that are getting sniffed out for all their taxes and everything. And that's where the IRS is. All they want to do is just do this to make money, guys. As if they didn't already have enough, and as if they couldn't enforce money out of the Federal Reserve if they wanted to, right? So, like, it's just something that, like, you guys can see here that, like, all of this stuff is such a mess, and this is why cryptocurrencies are supposed to end up fixing this, and it's supposed to end up helping us get rid of these types of, like, snooping authorities, taxing, regulating authorities that honestly don't know anything about this, but they're all going to treat it as if it's money, and then they're going to try to tax it the same way. And so that's pretty much a lot of times the government's missing the point before they're starting to see the full potential. And, like, really, you know, the real reason why I say that, guys, is, like, think about it. If you think about it to yourself, when you think about the blockchain and the technology that it holds, you're like, man, it would do way better for the planet to hold off on trying to tax this stuff. We shouldn't even try to tax this stuff for a good long time. Long time. We should let the implications of the blockchain play out amongst the planet before we even think about trying to tax it. That's honestly like just one of the smartest ways that I could see any government moving forward with this. But you know, as we'll see tonight, we'll see a few different things that are happening. So next, new Malaysian cryptocurrency regulation comes into effect. News.bitcoin.com puts this article out that says last week, Malaysia's new anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism policy guidelines specifically addressing cryptocurrencies came into effect. The new regulations compel Malaysian virtual currency exchanges to mandate KYC adherence, including the collection of ID documentation. So this is just like, so look at this, guys. Bank Negara Malaysia's stated policy objective is to, quote, ensure that effective measures are in place against money laundering and terrorism financing risks associated with the use of digital currencies, in addition to increasing the transparency of digital currency activities in Malaysia. The new policy guidelines assert that, quote, promoting greater transparency in the use of digital currencies serves to protect the integrity of the financial system and strengthen incentives to prevent their abuse for illegal activities. Ooh, some really good language there. All right, so the legislation came into effect on February 27th. The Bank Negara Malaysia stating that it, quote, took into account feedback received during the public consultation period on the exposure draft released on 14th of December 2017. The bank added that the feedback it received mainly focused on the obligations imposed on digital currency exchangers, including businesses providing intermediary services involving cryptocurrencies. The regulations mandate that Malaysian virtual currency exchanges collect the full name, address, and date of birth of all customers, in addition to ID documentation. The policy document also states that any person offering services to exchange digital currencies, either from or to fiat money or from or to another digital currency, is subject to obligations under Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing, and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001. Woo! All right, so lots of language coming out right here. So, you know, let's just take a look at this. I just want you guys to see this first. Boom, boom, boom. Central bank. Look at this. So it just basically says this: promoting greater transparency in the use of digital currencies serves to protect the integrity of the financial system, not the cryptocurrency system, not you as an individual. And it also says, and strengthen incentives to prevent their abuse for illegal activities. So first of all, strengthen incentives means that they're going to start offering rewards, in my opinion, for people that are going to be evading the taxes from, you know, any type of blockchain activities. And, you know, I definitely think it would be definitely in somebody's, like an authority's incentive, in best interest, to try to incentivize, you know, people to be like, hey, we'll give you a reward if you could give us any information about how these people are getting away with cryptocurrency taxes. And then it also says to prevent their abuse for illegal activities. So here's the thing, is that the abuse of cryptocurrencies around illegal activities is definitely nothing that can even be defined. Like that's like saying we're going to strengthen the incentives to prevent rubber tires for being used as spaghetti dishes. That's about how much sense that makes to me, fam. That's about what that says to me. It says we're about to provide you a reward to prevent you from using a rubber tire as a spaghetti dish. Okay? And people are going to sit there, and because they don't get it, they're just going to be afraid and be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to even, like, I'm not even going to eat spaghetti. Like, I don't even like spaghetti. Like, get that ragu away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will be so feared into this that they will shut themselves down. They'll shut their whole populaces down, like what India is doing, just because they're afraid of the regulations. Okay, so what I want you guys to see here is that, like, this is some very, very tight language that's being used, where it says, it's preventing their abuse for illegal activities. First of all, there's no way to abuse a cryptocurrency because a cryptocurrency hasn't been defined as anything, and there is no such thing as cryptocurrency abuse. And even if you're trying to put it in, say, Silky, it's all about the context. I know it's about the context, but it also says abuse for illegal activities. Okay, so like, illegal activities would be defined as something in a jurisdiction that has to usually deal around commerce of dollars and commerce of fiat and governments and central banks controlling that and the supply of that and how fast it comes out. So you know what else? It also provides a lot of stress on the populace. A lot of people start to get stressed out, and at a certain point they might end up doing something that you might deem illegal. But I'm just also showing you guys that the environment that type of stuff is in, the fiat environment, is way more conducive for illegal activities just on the stress it puts on the human body, as opposed to the freedom you get with cryptocurrency. All right, so that's just one other thing. And then also it just says here, it also says that it's required to conduct customer due diligence on all customers and the persons conducting the transaction when the reporting institution establishes business relationship with the customer, and when the reporting institutions have any suspicion of money laundering or terrorism financing. So as you guys can see, this ML and the TF, those are the new weapons that they're trying to use to control you. And whenever they are trying to say something like money laundering, terrorism financing, and the other thing is TE, tax evasion, you're avoiding taxes. Those are the three things that we've seen so far to use to control people on the planet. So just make sure, guys, whenever you start hearing something like that, like, you just realize that, look, this is just a fear control tool. This is just a tool trying to suppress me, and I don't even hear it. In fact, like, that's pretty. All those words you talk about, that's pretty. But, like, I don't even care. I don't even care, baby. Like, I'm just off doing my own thing. And so, like, here it is. They're also having to get the ID documentation, full name, address, and date of birth. And, this is something where Malaysia, like just a few months ago, we were seeing them studying what's going on with their... We've seen them studying what's going on with their cryptocurrency transactions that were happening. And there have been times in the past, you guys can look at the YouTube channel, it's probably before it was on the blockchain, but there were times when you guys could see that I've given Malaysia thumbs up. Same as Singapore. And Malaysia tonight, due to all of this that's happening, huge thumbs down from Sovereign Starseed. I'm sorry, but like, with you, totally end up going back with, Malaysia was eventually just going to, I was remembering when I was reporting on it, they were just saying that all they were going to do is release reports on the things that they were finding out. And instead of releasing reports, now they went right in and started to regulate and basically hard-coded it into the law so fast that people don't even know what's going on before the chance that people even had the right to speak about it. Now there's laws and regulations that they have to follow. And the Malaysian government said, hey, you should have said something on December 14th. That was the day we let everybody know. You had one day, bro. You had all day. And they're like, wait a second. I didn't even know about cryptocurrency until now. Like, this is crazy. And I'm like, yeah, well, too bad. You got to follow all these rules. And it's like, wow, that's crazy, man. That is so crazy. So I just want you guys to see that. And then, so next, Coindesk.com puts out this article today that says Icelandic police are hunting for hundreds of Bitcoin miners. So it says the theft of hundreds of cryptocurrency miners in Iceland has led to a series of arrests amid an ongoing investigation. The Associated Press reports that as many as 600 miners, which have yet to be recovered, were stolen during 4 separate incidents in December and January. 11 people, including a security worker, have been arrested in connection with the investigation into what has been called the Big Bitcoin Heist. 2 of those arrested remain in custody after a Reykjanes, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right, district court ruling, though it is unclear what role they allegedly played in the heists. So it says everything points to this being a highly organized crime. That mining hardware would be a great target for larceny is perhaps unsurprising given the growth in cryptocurrency prices in recent months. Past incidents include the theft of 165 miners from Bitcoin miner BTCS at a facility in the U.S. state of North Carolina in 2016. So, yeah, there's like 600 Bitcoin miners that have been stolen, and now police are trying to hop it down and trying to track people and trying to find it. And so, yeah, that's just what's going on there. Next in the news, news.bitcoin.com puts out this article that says Bittrex blocks residents of North Korea, Iran, Crimea, Syria, and Cuba. So it says concerns from Russian traders that they may be unable to access Bittrex once the exchange's new terms of service come into effect this month appear to have been alleviated. Starting March 9th, the exchange will formally block residents of North Korea, Iran, the Crimean region, Syria, and Cuba from accessing its trading services. Last month, the Las Vegas-based cryptocurrency exchange Bittrex published its new terms, which are expected to go into effect on March 9th. The new terms will prohibit citizens or residents of any state, country, or territory or other jurisdiction that is embargoed by the United States from accessing Bittrex's trading services. So that is where that comes into the regulation. So regulation becomes means for U.S. state apparatus to project realpolitik objectives. So the new list of restricted locations in Bittrex's updated terms of service appears to comprise of a formalization of a crackdown initiated last year. So Bittrex started closing Iranian accounts without any heads up or announcements from October 12th, asserting that Iranians had been left with no means through which to repatriate the funds held in their accounts. Mr. Ahmadi lamented their increasing projection of U.S. imperial objectives, manifesting as a consequence greater regulation of the cryptocurrency industry. Sorry, guys. They're using the fluidity of Bitcoin to control the needs of the people around the world and reach their own political interests. That is not what Bitcoin and blockchain is about. It is against the spirit of the system. So, do you think regulatory compliance undermines the original vision for Bitcoin laid out by Satoshi Nakamoto? So, that's a very important question, guys. So the next, also Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that says Chinese retail giant to use blockchain to track beef, improve food safety. So the Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com is implementing blockchain to track the supply chain of its meat sales. JD said that its customers will be able to monitor their meat from the farm in Australia where it was raised all the way to their doorstep. When this system becomes when the system becomes operational later this spring, customers will be able to check how the meat was raised, butchered, and transported. The tracking system is a result of a partnership with Australian beef producer H.W. Greenham. In China, counterfeit goods often slip under the radar. In August 2016, 319 pigs contaminated by prohibited drugs, including salbutamol and clenbuterol, were discovered in southeast China. Blockchain technology provides a solution in boosting consumer confidence, as it allows us to verify the origin of the meat in seconds. It says, quote, consumers in China don't just want quality imported products, they want to know that they can trust how and where their food is sourced, and blockchain helps us deliver this peace of mind. Blockchain has also proven a boon to food suppliers who, in addition to improving consumer confidence, can use the distributed ledger system to track the origin of foodborne illnesses like salmonella. This more accurate method of tracking would allow suppliers to quickly locate the source of the contaminated products and could lead to less food waste during the recall process. So yeah, just wanted you guys to see that that's now just another way that blockchain is going to be used to instill confidence in the species, so that way we can end up seeing, just from this, for anybody who eats meat, where all of your meat is coming from. I expect this to fully go full on with other things, like as far as like organic foods and everything else. It can be all goods. All goods can be used for blockchains like this, and it can be used from the creation of the good to where it gets to your hand. And there could be tiny little pieces of a blockchain that produce every piece of data like that, decentralized, non-regulated. All right, and the next, and finally in the news, techdirt.com puts out this article that says Washington state laughs in the face of FCC attempts to ban states from protecting net neutrality. So in the wake of the FCC's net neutrality repeal, nearly half the states in the union are now in the process of passing new net neutrality rules. Some states are pushing for legislation that mirrors the discarded FCC rules, while others, including Montana, have signed executive orders banning states from doing business with ISPs that engage in anti-competitive net neutrality violations. Of course, incumbent ISPs saw this coming, which is why both Verizon and Comcast successfully lobbied the FCC to include language in its repeal that tries to preempt state authority over ISPs entirely. But this effort to ban states from protecting consumers, not just from net neutrality violations, rests on untested legal ground, which is why some ISPs are also pushing for fake net neutrality laws they hope will preempt these state efforts. So far, states aren't taking the FCC's threats very seriously. Washington State, for example, became the first state in the union this week to pass net neutrality legislation, though Oregon is neck and neck. Washington's new law largely mirrors the discarded FCC rules by prohibiting the anti-competitive throttling and blocking of competitors, as well as paid prioritization deals that prevent ISPs from letting deep-pocketed content companies buy an unfair advantage over small companies and startups. So this is something that is very, very good for us to see, guys. It says the bill's sponsor doesn't appear particularly flummoxed by FCC restrictions on what states can and can't do. It says, quote, just because the FCC claims it has the power to preempt state laws doesn't mean that it actually does. I can claim to have the power to manifest unicorns, but if you look outside right now, there are no unicorns. So this is just another quote that I've actually read from another report the other night, but this is just something that I wanted to end up reporting that came out day before yesterday. And this is really good to see here, is that, like, it's just, yeah, you know what? Now there's a whole bunch of people starting to step up, and now Washington is one of the first ones just to be like, yeah, you know what, FCC, try as you might, but it's not gonna work. So just wanted to show you guys that. And then next in the news, or finally, that's it for the news, guys. And so to get into the maxim, let's go ahead and study tonight's maxim before we end up taking off and we split ways for a little while. And tonight's maxim is actus me invito factus, non est meus actus. Actus me invito factus, non est meus actus. An act done by me against my will is not my act. Once more, an act done by me against my will is not my act. Think about how that can apply, guys, in your personal relationships, in your professional relationships, in your private relationships that you even have with yourself. Just see how that can apply it everywhere, even in the court of law, other places like that. And with that, guys, I just thank you again for tuning in tonight. Thank you to everybody, all the regulars that always end up showing up, super faithful. Really, really appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow night. So things are going to be changing a little bit. So now I'm probably going to be switching the schedule up. We're going to try to end up going for it a little bit earlier. So instead of 10, I might end up starting to do it at 9 or 8. And so I think I'm going to try tomorrow night at like 8. So that way I can end up, just getting in bed and being able to get up a lot easier. So with that, guys, just make sure you stay tuned to my Twitter, SovereignStar33. You'll be able to end up seeing it. And also make sure that you follow me on Steemit. and you'll be able to see all the casts that go out. And we'll be back tomorrow night, and probably at 8, which is, I think, 3 o'clock Universal Time. And yes, this is Sovereign Starseed saying good night to all beings, seen and unseen. I love you.